Welcome to the Burnt Bridge podcast. Today we are lucky enough to have Trey on the cast. Welcome, Trey. Everyone say welcome. Radio, say it. Amazing. We are so happy to have you here. Do you quickly want to help me shout out some people celebrating sobriety milestones?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, great. Priscilla celebrated 4 years on July 15th. Incredible job, Priscilla. Sophie, my friend on TikTok, Sophie said she's an incredible musician, celebrated 2 years on July 25th.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Sophie. Alex is going to have 30 days on the 5th of August. And Katie is celebrating 5 months.
Hell yeah.
Great job, everyone. Congratulations. And if you're celebrating a sobriety milestone in August, comment below so we can give you a proper shout out. Okay, back to what we're here for, and that's Trey. I first met you when you came to do an H&I at the treatment center I was attending. And I think you came every week I was there, I think. And you told your story one of the times, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe that was, because then after I got out of treatment and stayed sober for a little while, we started doing that H&I together. Which H&I, if anyone doesn't know, is hospitals and institutions, and it's where you bring the message to treatment centers and mental facilities and things like that. But I haven't heard how things are going recently. I haven't seen you in forever. How's it going?
Things are going good. Funny enough, we were celebrating milestones. My 9 months is actually tomorrow.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. My new sobriety day is Halloween. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, things are going good. I've been really invested in work, doing the roofing stuff, you know, and just doing the recovery deal like always. There's not really much that has changed since I've seen you last. So yeah, things are great.
Well, good. I would love to hear you share your story, however much or little you're willing to share.
Man. So you want me to just...
Yeah, just fucking hit us.
And I can cuss too. So
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think my story is unlike many others. And I don't even like delving too much into my childhood because I ultimately don't think that matters in terms of my alcoholism. But I did have like a very chaotic upbringing. My family was very poor. My mom's been remarried 5 times at this point. So yeah, just as you can imagine, I've always had like another man in my life, right? And never really felt safe or grounded anywhere. I can count probably about 13 times that we moved before I was even 12 years old, you know? Mm-hmm. So as a child, man, it was just always making new friends at school, feeling like it didn't fit in. And yeah, just to make a long story short, I just remember always feeling uncomfortable, alone, scared, and was bullied a lot as a kid. Had to learn how to like fend for myself, you know. But yeah, I remember at 11 years old taking my first drink of alcohol and just feeling free, you know. It was the first time in my life I felt like I had some sort of meaning and like everything was just gonna be okay, at least momentarily, and it was. So naturally, you know, as a kid, it's like my mind made this connection of like, okay, well, I feel really good when I do this, so I'm gonna keep doing this as much as possible. And yeah, thus started my journey into alcohol and drug use, right? So as a kid, right, I would look for anything, huffing gas, huffing paint.
Hell yeah.
I remember being in like closets, like with the cloth and hairspray, and just doing like whatever I could.
Normal shit.
One time when I was like, I forget how old I was, I watched a movie and they were like doing acid. Have I told you this story?
No.
All right, so all I knew was they were eating paper. This is so embarrassing. So I talked to a friend at school about it, and he was like, "Yeah, it's like a drug, and it makes you like see crazy stuff, and it's on paper." So I went home and started tearing out little pieces of notebook paper and was eating it, thinking,
Right.
yeah, it didn't work.
Did you have like a placebo effect though? Was there a minute where you're like, whoa?
No.
Right, okay. You were also huffing hairspray at this time, so.
Yeah. But 14 years old, I tried LSD for the first time. It was incredible. My uncle gave it to me. And yeah, I mean, when I was that young, like, it was fun, right? Like, especially in high school, that was the thing, is we would skip class, go to lunch, smoke weed, get high, come back to school, just like be so out of it in class, you know what I mean? And be high on the school bus, party on the weekends. But I saw early on that, like, there was something different between me and my friends, right? Like, I remember specifically this guy, Danny. His mom, like, let them party and stuff, and they went to raves every weekend. But that kid made straight A's, like, all through high school. And me, it's like, come Monday, I had to go to school, party stopped, and I just could not hold it together throughout the week. So my only solution to that was basically, well, first it was alternative school. I got in trouble on purpose so that I could get put in alternative school, so I could have more time free to, like, chill at home and smoke weed. And then sooner or later, it was like my mom didn't really, there was no accountability. She didn't really care whether or not I went to school. They didn't have those hard rules back then. I say back then.
Back in the day.
Back in the 70s. So yeah, I stopped going to school. I never got past the 9th grade. Before I go any further, you have any questions? Because it's about to get real.
I mean, I had plenty of questions about the notebook paper, but I'll withhold those till the end.
Yeah. So when I was 16 years old, my mom was with the guy that he's my stepdad, Joe. Only guy I ever felt love for. The only guy that ever, like, really provided for us. He was a good dude. He bought me my first guitar when I was on Christmas when I was like 15. Ultimately, it was the first time in my life I felt safe, and, like, he bought us a house, took us out the trailer park, and I felt like things were gonna be okay. And I remember coming home on it was the day that 9/11 happened, on 9/11, and my mom had quit her job, and it just started this whole thing of, like, them not doing good, right? So our house started to become very chaotic, and by January that year, they had split up, and she was seeing another guy. Anyways, this guy moved in, and just to make a long story short, at one point I walked in on this guy abusing my mom, like beating the shit out of her, and my immediate response was to go make sure my little brother and sister were in their rooms and safe, right? I called the cops, but when I came back from school that next day, my mom said she was done with that guy. But when I came home from school the next day, it was Valentine's Day. It's just funny how all these holidays, it's like when my life fell apart. But she told me that she wasn't going to stop seeing this guy and that he wasn't going anywhere, right? And that's when I ended up moving to Austin. I was 16 years old. And
You just moved here by yourself?
No, my dad lived here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But there was a period of time in Kerrville where I was in counseling and I had to finish this psychiatric stuff. So I stayed in a homeless shelter, or in a children's shelter there, and it was just, dude, at 16 years old, it was just like such a traumatic experience. Like my life is okay, and then all of a sudden it's not, you know. And I'm not saying all this to make myself a victim, right? But yeah, for a 16-year-old, right, your life's just starting. It's pretty traumatic. So I moved here, and as you can imagine, I hated it. From Kerrville to Austin, it was just like a culture shock. I hated school. I hated everybody. I hated my dad,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't like partying a lot during this time. I was really um, just like a sad emo kid, just mad at the world, So, and I was actually doing well. I dropped out of school, got my GED, started working, got my own place. And I remember specifically, I was 19 years old and I had a girlfriend and we had our place together, right? And she left me, like straight up just like left. One day I came home, all her shit was gone. And really no reason why. It turns out that she had started working at Whole Foods, met somebody else, and just moved out with him, right? And
Classic Whole Foods.
yeah, but I say all that to say that day, I was 19 years old. I had my friend buy me a 6-pack of Tall Boy Lone Star, and I drank that whole 6-pack by myself. And I remember just making this like really profound connection of like, this makes me feel better.
Yeah.
And working in the service industry, that's what they did. So I just remember from that point forward, my life became like I'm drinking every day, all day. So I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. 20 years old, I enlisted in the Army, and I was in there for a little bit, but I ended up screwing that up. And when I came back home, I had a lot of money in my account, right? Had never done drugs, but when I came back, I got introduced to cocaine, amongst other things. And yeah, so my life from 21 on was just like a steady downfall. I found heroin when I was 23, and it was really then when things just like took a deep dive. I was homeless by 27, and then it was just in and out of treatment, psych wards, until I got sober. So before I get into the nitty gritty of rehab, did you want to ask any questions?
I mean, so like how did we make the jump from cocaine to heroin? Was it just like the natural progression of things?
No, so there was a time here when my drinking, I had burned all my bridges here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had cheated on my girlfriend that I was living with. She found out about it, and my family was already to the point like, we don't want it, dude. You're too crazy. We don't want anything to do with you. So I had some friends in San Antonio. I moved down there, and yeah, just kind of started a new life down there. But the first two guys that I met down there happened to be heroin addicts, and I was kind of turned off to it at first, just because I had that whole mentality of like, needles are for junkies,
Mm-hmm.
So, but sooner or later, I would get drunk enough, and I would try snorting it, and it was okay. And then I got introduced to the needle for the first time doing cocaine, and I'm not gonna lie, it was fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It just rocketed. So I started doing that, and then the mentality just became, okay, well I'm using needles, like why not just try heroin with it? And I didn't necessarily like heroin up until that point, but yeah, the first time I used a needle and shot it, it was it was just pure bliss.
Yeah.
Yeah, for someone like me who loves downers in general, like it just took me to that place that I needed to be, and for the next few years, that's kind of where I stayed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the story with heroin, it's like once you start doing that, I mean, my habit at the very least was like $200 a day. So you have to like start finding very creative ways to get money.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I think that's also what takes a toll on people. It took a toll on me in general of like, you have to start becoming this like monster, right? It's like I start lying, I start stealing, I start robbing, I start doing all these things that like I never said that I was going to do, and they're still wrong deep within myself, but It's like if you don't have heroin, you were sick beyond, you know what. I mean, if you haven't experienced it, it's just the worst feeling in the world, you know. So yeah, I mean, it was dark, and it stayed dark for a while. What questions do you have?
I love how you're like interviewing me. I mean, it's just so interesting to hear like that progression, because like what would you have said that your DOC was before you tried heroin?
Alcohol.
Yeah.
And cocaine. But when I relapsed, it's interesting. When I relapsed, I found that my preference is meth.
Really?
Yeah, I did fentanyl too, but I do meth. I go on these long binges, and then I use opiates to come down. But I prefer being up these days, at least. So yeah.
Huh.
But I mean, how it happened is just really just when I got far enough in my addiction, it's just like I was just doing whatever I could to get fucked up. You know? So.
Okay, well then, continue. Those are all my questions for now.
So, I moved back to Austin. That girl took me back. So sweet of her, you know.
Wow, what an angel.
That poor girl. I hurt that girl so much. And that's one of those relationships that's just beyond repair.
Yeah.
But she took me back. I came to Austin. I got into cosmetology school. But here's the thing, looking back, it's like my motives were just fucked, right?
Yeah.
Like my motive for getting into a cosmetology school was like girls, drugs, right? And that's what I did. I graduated cosmetology school, but I was literally dope sick at my graduation. And at that time, I hadn't really experienced dope sickness like I did then. And I didn't necessarily know what was wrong with me other than I didn't feel good. And I made the connection one day by, I was feeling like shit, went to go score, and as soon as I did it, it felt better immediately, you know? So, anyways, edit that out, please.
Cut it.
Went to school, graduated, and yeah, it was just a vicious cycle of me and her using, stopping, and all the while I'm drinking heavily and really just like psychologically and emotionally abusing this girl, you know, until she got tired of it. And yeah, one day she just got fed up and was like, you have to go. And I had nowhere to go except to rehab. And at that time, treatment was a lot different than at Austin Recovery. You could show up at 7 a.m. in the morning and they'd accept you into detox. So yeah, I went to Austin Recovery the first time. Finished detox, and I'll just say that was the most agonizing experience I've ever had. It was the first time I ever really kicked dope, and when you kick, it's not like you're just sick, right? It's like you're sick, and all your emotions are coming to the surface that you've never felt before, and so literally the whole detox, I just laid in bed and cried and felt sorry for myself and was wishing I was using. And I went out to rehab for 3 days. And yeah, I think it was the third or fourth day I left and told the family I was going to do IOP and everything was going to be fine.
Classic.
And never showed up to IOP. Stayed homeless. Went to treatment again. 6 months later, same thing, except I stayed for 30 days, got kicked out on my last day.
What'd you get kicked out for?
So on the last night there, did you know Seth Allen?
Mm-mm.
He passed away a couple months ago. Good kid, but he was my roommate in there. And the night before, I left, he was like, "Dude, let's celebrate." So the way we did that was we went to the rec room, took the flat screen off the wall, put it in our room, and the next day they interviewed us about it. and at the time I'm like, why the fuck would they kick me out for that, you know?
Yeah.
But looking back, they kicked me out for lying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when they asked us about it, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna fucking tell anybody, fuck you, you know what I mean? And so they kicked me out. Same thing. Was on the street for another 6 months,
and when you say on the street, do you mean like literally on the street?
No, I mean like I didn't really have anywhere to go. For the most part, I had a friend that would let me stay with them here or there. Yeah, I mean, when you're living that life, it's like you find enough junkie friends that are living the same way, you know. But it's always very short-lived because you're stealing from each other, lying to each other. It's like so toxic. You know what I mean? But Steven Avery, did you meet him?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so I met him, and so we were living together in the same apartment for a while. He ended up going to prison. He got caught like in all these scams he was running, got arrested. And something happened in this 2-month period where I was kind of alone in that apartment, just kind of using by myself and having these moments of clarity where it's like, dude, how long am I going to do this for? So I ended up going to treatment again. The Sims Foundation got me into detox. And so, yeah, this is where like the change really started to happen. So I was in detox, and I had no intention on getting sober. You know, I really didn't. I was really just biding my time. And I think you may have heard this story before, but there was this guy that I had known from the street corner. He was always on the street corner, always drunk, and he showed up to that detox. And so me and him started like trying to figure out these ways to like leave so we can go score. But there was like something in me. I was like, dude, this dude needs to be here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, but he does. But I remember that day I tried convincing him to stay, and then it started to become like, man, I really need to get this guy to stay, you know? And anyways, he left that same night. But I remember that was the first night that I actually like got sleep, you know? And the next day they took me to the ranch, to Austin Recovery. And I remember making phone calls, trying to leave, trying to do the same thing. And for some reason this time, there was just no more wiggle room, right? Like, I remember calling my dad, and for the first time in my life, my dad was like, dude, fuck you, I'm done with you.
Yeah.
And just hung up on me. And yeah, so I kind of just hit this place where it's like, I have no other options, right? And my first response to that was, I'll just kill myself, you know. And that was the plan, you know. At first, it was like I'm gonna ride these 30 days out. I'm gonna buy enough dope to kill myself with. But then, you know, I think this light started to come on of like, okay, well, it was really my ego, right? I'm a firm believer that God uses our egos to kind of get us where we need to be sometimes. So I was like, well, if I'm here for 30 days, it's gonna be fucking painful if I'm not doing anything, so I'm just gonna give these 12 steps a chance. But if I'm gonna do them, I'm gonna fucking do them better than anybody here. And so I started taking suggestion, and I remember the first suggestion someone gave me was, dude, just wake up every morning, roll out of bed, hit your knees, pray, and then get up and make your bed, you know. And I started doing that. And I started to have an experience with that. I started every morning doing that, and then just like a little bit more contentness every day followed that, right? But what really started to happen behind the scenes was like I was working the steps, and shout out my friend Todd. Todd's a good dude. He's still sober to this day. But so me and him were like the only two dudes in there really taking shit seriously. But we were also like kind of keeping it secret because we didn't want anybody to think we were pussies.
Right.
So yeah, we're both working the steps, and I don't know what I'm doing. You know, I'm just doing what's suggested of me. somebody told me to start writing inventory. I did that, and there was this guy, Ben Cartwright, that listened to my fifth step, and he was this old AA dude. He passed away a few years ago, but I remember when he listened to my inventory, he gave me the instructions on step 6 and 7. And he said, when you go back to your room and do this prayer, my 7th step prayer, he said, don't leave anything out. And then he told me, he was like, your life's about to change. And he looked me in the eye. And there was just something about the way that he said it that, like, I believed him.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't believe in God. I didn't believe in any of that shit. I didn't believe. The only thing I believed in is that I wanted to fucking die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I heard him, and I went back to my room, and I remember feeling sort of excited, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I look back on that, and what it was faith, right? Like I finally had just like at least a little bit of faith that maybe this could work, and I had even held on to my list of my plugs numbers up until this point. I had them in my pocket. I don't recommend that, but
in your pocket in treatment.
Yeah, it was like my safety net. You know what I mean? But so went back to my room, did my 7th step, and the way that this day like kind of manifested was pretty magical looking back. So right after that 7th step prayer, I had to rush to this group, which just so happened to be Musical Journey, which for those of you who don't know, it's pretty awesome. So you just lay on the ground. Have you ever done sound healing?
Yeah.
Okay, it's like that, but it's like loud tribal music, breath work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's really hard to explain this because I think we all have our own experiences with God and stuff. But so my grandmother had died a couple years before this, and anyways, I had this out-of-body experience, and back in the day when I would show up to my granny's house, she always had this thing that she said. She was like, "You're home, darling," you know.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, I had this out-of-body experience, and I heard my grandmother's voice, like clear as day, say, "You're home, darling."
Oh fuck. And
I remember like just tears started pouring out of my eyes. I was like laying down, and what's interesting about that though is like before she died, she told me all she ever wanted for me was to be a man of God, and to find God. And looking back, that was the moment I found God. And that's, you know, that's profound in and of itself. What's even more profound is the fact that like from that day forward, like my perception shifted, right? Like I started like really enjoying seeing other people happy. I started like doing the right thing regardless of like whether or not I wanted to do it, you know. I was one of those dudes in rehab that would hide in the closet to try and skip group, you know. And I started going to group because it was just the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I was in treatment for like 2 more weeks. Got ready to make my amends, left treatment, went to sober living, you know, and that all was just happened as a result of letting go. I didn't know where I was going to go. Sober living lined up, and yeah, I mean, I got out, started having that whole experience of just working a solid program, getting hooked. I'm so grateful for getting hooked up with the right people, because I look back and it could have gone either way, right? Like I got to sober living and there was guys that were like not doing the right thing and getting high, and there was other guys that were like, dude, let's go hit a meeting, you know. And what I did was Club 101. I started showing up to that meeting every day, making the coffee, chairing the meeting. And I just became like a staple in that meeting, right? And that lasted for like a year. But, dude, I still have friends today that like I met at that meeting, you know, or that I met at Club 101. And yeah, I mean, that service commitment of just making the coffee every day, like I'm always saying, dude, make coffee. Make coffee. It's going to change your life. But it really did. And that just carried out into, you know, I got a job. Do you need me to stop for any reason? Or
No.
you want me to keep going?
I want you to keep going. I'm enthralled.
All right, so I like touching on this, right? When I first got out of a treatment, I got a job at a restaurant as a dishwasher. Um, and that's like a job nobody wants, you know. It's a job I didn't want. I was making $7.25 at that point, and dude, just grunt work. But I'm always telling people it was the best job I ever had, right? Because that's where I learned how to like be an employee, right? And that like I remember going to work some days and like really having pride in what I was doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like just washing dishes, and you read about it in spiritual books. It's like being content with, it doesn't matter what you're doing, it's how you're doing it, you know? And I really started having experience with that and showing up and just being honest. And I started to see the results of that, right? Like quickly, my boss gave me a raise. He put me on the line. And so I worked there for about a year, and then I got into working in treatment, and I stayed in treatment for 8 years, until I started roofing. But and I'd say my recovery was pretty solid for a good 6-7 years. And I guess I'll kind of delve into like my downfall, because that's kind of, it was around that time that I met you, right? Right? Yeah, because I went through the breakup.
A lot of people have their downfall after they meet me.
No.
It was like, coincidentally, I actually think it was the day I met you, things started going downhill.
You know what's funny is I don't remember you when you were in treatment.
Love that for me.
Yeah.
It's probably for the best. But I was very like, I remember specifically your story or something you shared. Like, I don't know if you told your story that time or if that was when we were doing our H&I, but something you said, and I wish I remembered what it was, but you know, I always tell the story when I do H&Is, which I haven't in a while, but of like, I was watching you guys like, you know, share, and I remember thinking, because I was also in the place where I was like, this has to be it, or like literally I'll try, like I'll give it my best shot, but if it doesn't work, I'm gonna kill myself, and that was my plan. And like I remember hearing the others speak and being like, I really think everyone's lying. Like I actually think they're lying to me. Either they weren't as bad as me, or they don't really have this, or they're actually getting drunk, or, you know, it was just like, was so implausible that someone could be like happy. And you guys like went outside and you were like chatting and like laughing and making plans. And I was like, I just don't fucking buy it. Like, I really don't. But something that you said, and like, it makes me, because you guys were going through the steps like week by week, and I feel like it was like step 7 or something. I don't know. But it just like really, like, I believed what you were saying. And I always, like, when I went back to the same treatment center to give H&Is, like, I would always say, I looked at these same people that I'm here with now, and I thought that they were full of shit, and I wondered, like, how they hang out after this, and, like, they have fun and whatever. And then I did what they said, and then now I'm here, and I'm, like, experiencing the same thing that I saw them that I thought was, like, impossible. Yeah. And it was just really impactful. So, like, even though you don't remember me, like, it was really, like, a big moment for me.
Ratchet.
It's fine.
But yeah, no, and I'm always sharing that with people, with like, because I can get into my ego in recovery, and like, you know, when I go to meetings, it's like I'm trying to share the most fire shit.
Yes, yeah.
But like, what I have to remember is like, that's not even what attracted me. What attracted me was what you're talking about. Is like, guys would like bring me into the fold, right? And we would go out for coffee, and yeah, I would just watch these guys like laughing, right? Or you could tell they're just drinking their coffee. Their legs not shaking. They're not tapping on shit, you know. And so it started to intrigue me, like, dude, how are you content, you know? And I started asking those questions, and the answer was like, dude, read the big book, work the steps. You know? So that's kind of what got me into it. It wasn't like the dude sharing the fire shit at the meeting. You know?
Yeah, because I don't relate to that yet. Yeah. Like, I relate to, I haven't had fun in fucking 7 years, and it was actually like the reason I started this podcast was because when I first was even like contemplating getting sober, I mean, I wasn't, but I just knew I had a problem. But I was like, I can't get sober. That would be fucking awful. But like, this isn't really going well. But I listened to a podcast. I listened to Dax Shepard's podcast, and he was like, I didn't even know he was sober. And he like shared that he was sober at one point, and I was like, wait, this guy's like really funny in a way that like I just thought if you were sober, you were gonna be funny in like a lame way, that where you were like, God's here. And it's like, I don't fucking relate to you. But he was funny in like a dark humor kind of way, and like he just had this thing about him that it was like, could have never imagined that someone who was sober, who had a problem, could like experience fun in that way. And it really just shifted my mindset, because when you first, like, I don't know, the first time I went to treatment, it was in Waxahachie, and we went to these meetings where it was like truly what you think an AA meeting is, with like a bunch of old people. And I remember being like, I'm so sorry, but I do not fucking relate to a single one of these people. Like, they live in a small country town, and they're like, you know, their jokes are bad. Yeah. Like, it's not funny. I'm not laughing. Yeah. But then like seeing real human beings, like, and we're the funniest among us, like, I really believe, because we have such a dark sense of humor. But I think you're right. I think it's like the fun aspect of it that is what we're always seeking anyways. Like, that's why we fucking did what we did, is because we wanted to have fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I always thought that, like, this is how AA is portrayed in TV. I always thought that it was, I was always going to want to use and just not be able to, so I was always going to be fighting the urge,
yes.
You know? And then, yeah, I remember going to a concert when I first got out of rehab, and having that experience of, so we were there all night, and there was a bar, and I was going to the bar all night to get Red Bulls and Topo Chicos and all that. But it wasn't until I got home that night, you know, I had so much fun, but like I got home and I made the connection, like, dude, I was going to the bar all night and I didn't even notice the alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, that's like fucking mind blowing to somebody like me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's incredible stuff. But yeah, all that stuff fell on deaf ears until I was ready to hear the message.
Yes, absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, I'm always sharing, like, it's only like a lot of pain that got me there to that point where I was willing to open my heart a little bit to something new.
Okay, so you met me, you started suffering.
No, so yeah, no, when we started to get to know each other, I was going through that breakup, right? And you know, that breakup isn't what happened, right? I think before I got in that relationship, I was struggling already a little bit, got into the relationship, and, you know, relationships have this way of bringing out, like, your darkest shit, right?
Correct.
And I honestly, I don't think that I was prepared for that, nor did I realize I had so much stuff within me that was untreated, you know? I'd been sober for 7 years, life was going good, and yeah, I just didn't know, you know? So all that to say, the relationship, I'll say this, I did a lot of wrong in that relationship. I think I was emotionally abusive in some ways, and just a very hard person to be with, right? And ultimately, the way that I see it now, right, is like just fear. That's how powerful fear is, right? I had this deep-seated fear of being abandoned, but it controls my entire life, right? And I actually end up like manifesting that which I fear. And then when I do, my ego's like, I knew it was going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I know that.
And I make it their fault. And so I think I did my best after that relationship to do the right thing. I got into therapy. I worked really hard around all this, and because I wanted to be better, and I still do, you know. But I also think there were other things that happened that kind of started pushing me away from AA. And even though I still went to AA, I started like having these resentments towards certain people, and in my head, I started like separating myself from everybody, and sooner or later I'm going to meetings and I'm sitting there, but I'm really in my head like, dude, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Fuck what he's saying, fuck what she's saying. And yeah, so that goes on for about 2 years, but and I get into the other relationship and thinking that that's gonna like fix things, and this is what I'll be able to like really work these things out in this relationship. It was the complete opposite. So the same thing happened again, right? Really kind of solidifying the idea that I'm the problem,
Love that.
Anyways, what's crazy is I was in a still on still 2-3 hours before I relapsed.
Which, tell everyone what a seal on seal is.
Oh, so yeah, a still on still is basically an accountability group, and we kind of just have this list of questions that we run through to make sure we're all in line with all three sides of the triangle and really invested in our recovery. And looking back, I couldn't see that I was lying to myself, right? I was so good at being recovered that I had become an actor. Like, yeah. I just knew how to act the part. And but I couldn't even see that at this point. So anyways, this relationship ended. She walked out the door. I'm talking like left the key, walked out, right? And the way that it is to this day in my memory, that shit is like so traumatic for me. All I can hear in my memory is like ringing, you know? And I remember my mind just going blank, and then the thought started of like, what would it be like if I did some meth, And it only took about 30 minutes before I was like full blown, like I'm already shaking, like trying to find people to score. And keep in mind, like I had not up until that point ever in my recovery had the thought to use. And I know some people will say that's crazy, but like I didn't. You know?
And it had been how long at this point that you've been sober?
Just under 9 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So went and scored, and this was like I think April 23rd is the night that I relapsed of 2024, and yeah, I mean, I remember having thoughts on the way to go score. I'm like exiting Ben White to get on 35, and I have the thoughts of like, you can still turn around, you can still call somebody. But it was just, I was just, all right, my mind was made up.
Yeah.
So I went and scored.
Sorry, wait, can I ask some questions about that?
Yeah.
So like the 30 minutes where you're like thinking about it, is it really like weighing the options, or was it pretty quick where it was like, what if I did this? I'm going to do it. Like, what was that transition like?
Yeah, it started with a small thought. It was like, what would it be like if I did, and then and then it was like, well, I mean, I've had 9 years. I'm almost to 9 years. I can just bounce right back from this.
Yeah, classic.
But then it's like that feeling. Yeah. Like I know that feeling of like shooting methamphetamine, right? And it's like, it's powerful, and that feeling starts becoming operative. And it's literally for me, like I'm already using before I do it, right? Like when I'm on the way, I'm like shaking,
I used to be like, before this time of being sober, the longest I ever got was 5 months. And I used to be so confused when people would say, like, when you're feeling that way, call your sponsor. Because I was like, there would be nothing any human being could ever fucking say to me at that point. Like, sure, I'll give them a call, but I'm just going to do what I'm going to do, and that's what I'm going to do. Because it is, like, it's so real how, like, the mental relapse before the relapse is, like, but actually the minutes leading up to it, it's like, I've already done it. I've literally already done it. There's no choice. Like, I feel like there was no choice once I made the decision. Yeah. I lost the ability to choose, which is like strange.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. It's almost like, yeah, the relapse, once I've put that much thought into it, the decision, yeah, it's like you're already relapsed. It's like there's no coming back from that decision. And then so at that point, it's just like, at that point for me, it's just like, fuck it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll deal with the consequences later.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second time, so I got sober for a month.
How long were you out?
Just like 5 days. Like I said, it's like on meth, it's like 5 days. I'm up, tweaking hard as fuck.
And during this 5 days, the first 5 days, are people like reaching out to you? Are you ignoring them? Like, what is that like?
Yeah, I'm just ignoring everybody.
Did anyone like know immediately somehow, like secretly? Like, I've always found that someone just fucking knows.
Well, that's the thing is, I remember Steven came home. When I relapsed, I knew in my mind, all right, Steven's out of town. He's going to be back in 4 or 5 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
By the time he came back, I was already sobering up, but I was literally on my couch just like just so ashamed of myself. My sponsor had told me to go pick up a Desire chip, but I'm literally like, oh my God, if you would have saw me, it was terrible. I lost like 20 pounds in 5 days.
Damn.
Yeah, it was bad. And that was one of the things leading up to this too. And I don't know if I've ever told you, but yeah, I had started messing with steroids and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I had all this weight. I was pretty big at the time, and I lost it all in that 5 days. It's so crazy. But so he came home, and I told him immediately. Every time I have, like, I'm pretty open and honest about everything, even when I'm doing wrong, right? And he was like shocked. He was like, "You relapsed?" Like, he was like, "Fuck." He was like, "I thought you were gonna tell me something like crazy happened," or he was like, "Yeah." And dude, he was so supportive at the time. I remember he just it's funny in my head because it's just like two masculine dudes hugging on a couch. but dude, he just threw his arms around me and like held me for like 15, 20 minutes,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's the only one that knew. No, I don't think anybody saw it coming because it came out of nowhere, well, not nowhere, but
yeah.
I was that good at acting too.
Yeah.
Me and her got back together shortly after that.
Oh, okay. Right, as you do.
Yeah, went to Vegas,
Oh, yeah.
And then yeah, it was just bad. The same thing happened. The same exact thing. I remember telling my sponsor, like, bro, just like newcomer shit, like, bro, it's gonna work, dude. Like, it's gonna work,
This was just a minor blip. Things are gonna be fine.
Yeah, so it didn't work. Same thing happened. The same exact thing though. I relapsed for 5 days, but this time Steven was like, he was like, dude, like, I'm sorry, but you either go to treatment or I'm moving out, or we got to figure something out, because he had a son and all that. So I pulled the card, the card we all do. It's like, okay, give me till Monday, and I'll go to detox. So I used till Monday, went to detox at well, I won't mention the name, but when I was there, they got me scholarship to a place, and I went there for 2 months. Had a pretty profound experience there. Actually super grateful for that experience. But yeah, I mean, I was sober for 6 months, really invested, and
wait, sorry, how long was the first two from each other, like the first 5 days?
1 month.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly, almost. Yeah, I got out, and I'm still kind of like baffled as to like what part of me has kind of come to terms with, like, maybe this is just the way that it was supposed to happen, because when I look back, even so that 6 months I was sober, like I was trying really hard, and the day that I relapsed in October, I had the thought, I called 2 people, I went home, I prayed, I did my nightly, and I was on my knees literally praying, and the thought, and then I just launched, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
What do you think? Because, like, I have this, and this is going to be real honesty hour right now.
yeah.
But, like, I have this kind of, I don't know if it's like a reservation or what you would call it, but, like, sometimes I have a qualm with AA when it comes to, like, well, if you're not working the program in the right way, like, when people relapse, it's always because they weren't working their program right. Do you think it's possible to work the program right and still relapse?
Oh man, that's a tough one. It's like my ego AA mind.
I know. Well, that's what I think, like, the challenge is, because, like, I never want to, like, that the program saved my life and it continues to save my life on a regular basis.
So, you know what I think was a huge problem for me is I was very rigid that 7 years, but that rigidity, I feel like only takes you so far. I think that I developed, I don't think that it's necessarily AA's fault or anybody's fault, but
Yeah.
I think there are like these unspoken like ways that we do things that kind of communicate like it has to be done this way.
Yeah.
Right. But all that to say, I don't blame anybody for this, but I developed these unrealistic expectations of myself, right? And in my head, I'm never living up to those things, and I think just living in a perpetual cycle of like I'm not good enough, you know.
Yeah.
And then also trying to, and this is just me and my ego, but trying too hard to be someone in AA.
Yes.
Instead of just like working my fucking program and living my life, you know. I heard one guy recently. He said AA is my. What'd he say? AA is only 10% of my life, but it's the first 10%, and that made a lot of sense to me, right? Like, my new sponsor really has helped me with this. He's like, dude, I'm not even your sponsor. We're just gonna work the steps together. We're gonna be honest with each other, and he was like, I want you to let go of all of your beliefs around AA. And so, yeah, where I'm at today is like, yeah, not trying to be someone in AA, right? Like, I have a life to live, and dude, the big book even says this, I forget what page, but like a much more important demonstration of our principles lies before us in our respective homes, occupation, and affairs, right?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I try to live by that, and I still sponsor guys, I still do all that, but I try not to think of it like, oh, if I don't do this, like XYZ is gonna happen.
Yeah,
You know what
I
mean?
think that's what I mean, is like, I've always heard, you know, like, well, were you doing your nightlies? Were you doing X, Y, and Z? And like, I think it's more principle based than it is like those things. Like, those things help you to implement the principles. But in my experience, like, I think the time that I relapsed before I got sober this time, I remember being like, I really thought I was like doing what I was supposed to be doing. But like, now when I reflect on it, I was the same way. I was trying to be someone in AA. I was trying to show everyone else and my sponsor even that, like, look, I'm doing the things I need to be doing, but I was doing the things I needed to be doing so that you would think that I was doing really well in what I was doing. It wasn't because I was like I wasn't humble in what I was doing. It was all ego driven, which is like, that's so hard to catch yourself in. And my sponsor now, like, I really like the way that she words things, and she says, like, allow yourself to be witnessed just as you are. Like, she's like, you always call me to 10-step and you like say what's going on, and then you say, but I know that this, you know, it's their own thing going on and it has nothing to do with me. Like, she's like, you always feel like you need to fill in the thing that you think I should know, like, that you know. Like, don't worry, I've already gotten to the other side of this mentally. And it's like, no, the point of a 10-step is to call and say, like, I'm fucking pissed about what's happening right now. Like, help me to see this situation objectively, not for you to already have seen it objectively.
Yeah.
And she's like, so, you know, she's just helped me to realize that a lot of what my natural inclination is to be performative and to make everybody think that, like, you don't have to worry about me because I've already figured out that this is like a me problem, when I don't really fucking believe it's a me problem. Yeah. I just want you to think that I think that. Like, it's obviously not me. What the fuck?
I do that too. Yeah. Yeah, and like now I'm really I was telling somebody about this the other day. I was always so scared. I was even scared. That's why I didn't date until I was 7 years, because like I was scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to do the right thing, you know. And I wish, looking back, that I would have started dating earlier and kind of got through some of this earlier, you know. But it is what it is. But yeah, it's like now I'm really intentionally trying to allow myself to just be messy a little bit. You know? I don't know if you've ever seen that podcast or that interview with Shia LaBeouf, but at the end, he's kind of like, dude, sometimes you got to just fuck it all up a little bit.
Yeah.
Know? And I mean, for me, I feel like that's when shit gets messy, like you figure it out and you grow, right? So yeah, I'm really just trying to allow myself just to, be messy, get ugly sometimes, fucking, and just kind of love myself through it all, you know?
Yeah.
While also being honest and trying not to hurt people, you know, but
yeah.
But yeah, I think, to answer your question, I think sometimes some of that stuff can be detrimental to people in recovery, for sure.
Yeah. There's just so much nuance to it, because it's like, how do you define working a solid program? I think that's where the issue came in for me, which is like, on paper, I can be working a perfect thing and still relapse, because the underlying things, like, I'm not doing it with the right intentions. And I think that's more what I meant. That I don't think that it's as simple as, if you take these actions, you'll be good and you'll never have anything to worry about. It's like, it is the hardest thing to be honest with ourselves about where we really stand, but that's the thing that can fuck us up the most. And like recently, and I've like shared semi-openly about this, but like I also got into a relationship, and things, it's like literally such a good relationship. It's like, okay, but I'm actually losing my mind, and I have been for a full year, because I'm just like, I didn't date for, a while when I got sober this time, because I recognized that was a problem for me. And everything just comes up. Like, everything comes up. And I thought I was just crushing it when I was single. And then, like, I just realized I have such like, exactly what you said. I have such a fear of being abandoned that it's like I have to actively stop myself from creating, like, a self-fulfilling prophecy about it. And, like, I just mentally, like, I forget to implement the principles and to, like, not live in self-will in other areas of my life. Like, I just think that it applies to just recovery and that's it. But my finances, my relationships, like, I just don't allow any room for that. And so I've been trying to work, I'm like reworking the steps right now. And, like, as I'm doing that, I'm like coming to terms with the fact that I've really been living like pretty miserably for a few months now. And all this shit's coming up, whatever. And so this past week, I'm literally sitting there. I'm like, no one will ever love me if I, like, show them, like, if I struggle at all, like, people will not accept me. I have to show this face that, like, everything's fine. If I am a problem, people are going to see me as a problem and not a person. Like, if I have a problem. And I get this call from a sponsee I haven't heard from in years. She stayed sober, but I just haven't heard from her in a while. And she starts telling me, like, when I say literally exactly the thoughts I was having, like, in so specifically about, like, it was just insane. And so, of course, then I put, like, my sponsor hat on and I'm giving her, like, guidance in how she should proceed. And I just had such a, like, spiritual moment of, like, this was, like, because I was like, I'm gonna fucking work the steps, I guess, and I guess it's gonna make me feel better and whatever. But I was, like, so resistant to, like, help, because right now I have all the control and I'm feeling like I'm holding everything perfectly balanced, and if I fuck up anything, it's all gonna fucking crash to the floor. And it was just such a moment where, like, my higher power was just like, hey, just so you know, just so you're aware, like, this actually can be a benefit to you if you fucking let go of some of this shit, like you're telling other people to do, you stupid idiot.
Yeah. Well, you said what did you say? Working the steps and to, like, make me feel better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a trap I fall into a lot. I was just telling my sponsor about this last night. I was like, the first time I ever worked the steps and did a fourth and fifth step, I didn't know what lied beyond that point.
Yeah.
I had no idea what was next. And I feel like all the knowledge I have in recovery now is actually kind of detrimental to me because I have this expectation about how I'm supposed to feel and the experience I'm supposed to have doing it. So yeah, I mean, like approaching the work, and this is very, very, very hard for me because I'm a very analytical person. But like letting go of like the result, right, and just doing the work, because the reward is that I stay sober. It's not like the book doesn't say you're going to be fucking happy from this moment forward forever. You know what I mean? It's basically it's saying like, dude, you're gonna be able to experience life and all facets of life, right? That includes like anger, depression, all of it. And so yeah, like now it's like I try to I don't know, I really try to practice gratitude for like even the hard shit today. And there was something else I was going to touch on, the relationship stuff. I struggle with a lot of that too. I don't know if we ever discussed like the stuff that would come up for me in relationships. It was like the abandonment stuff, but just the behaviors, right? Like, and I think this is kind of what like I carried so much shame. Like when that relationship ended, there was just so much shame around it because throughout this relationship, I was scared of being abandoned, right? But the way that manifested is in like behaviors like going through phones, right? So before I got here, I was like, I can't talk about this because what if there's women watching? I'm never gonna get a girlfriend, right? But it's my truth. So, there was one time that I followed her to her eyelash appointment to make sure that's where she was going. And the thing is I know that this girl was honest, and I know that she wouldn't do that. As a matter of fact, I knew that she was the kind of girl that if she didn't want to be with me, she just wouldn't be with me. Right. You know what I mean? And so, but I couldn't help the behavior. Like it would be this thing in my head that I just had, like I had to, well, what if, right? And there were moments at night where I'd be like sneaking around in the dark to get her phone, but I'm like crying because like I don't want to be doing this, but I can't fucking help it, you know? And I remember talking to people in AA about this, and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but like the advice would always be like, dude, just stop. I'd be like, dude, if I could just fucking stop, we wouldn't be having this fucking, I'm getting emotional saying this, but like, we wouldn't be having this conversation, you know? And I was struggling so bad with it. Like I was thinking about checking into a psych ward, like all that shit. And, so as you can imagine, man, I developed like this, like there's something deeply wrong with me, you know? And so after that relationship, it was just a spiral into like shame and resentment, and I, you know, looking back, it's like no wonder I fucking used, you know? So
it's interesting how like the same, because mine manifests very much in like, I will never say a word like this. It is all just gonna live up here. Like you will think I'm having the time of my fucking life, and I'll make everybody like, and I am having fun in the moment. But as soon as I leave, I'm like, well, it was great while it lasted. It's gone tomorrow. And like literally, I'll just suffer in total silence. Like I don't want to see your phone. Literally, you showing me a video on your phone. Please don't. I don't want to see anything that I don't want to see. I just don't want to know, and I don't want to know. And I'm living in my own little world about it. But like that's so fucking miserable. And a healthy person would be like, hey, I'm like really struggling with this. Like I would love some like validation in this moment. I don't know if that's healthy. I've never been healthy in my life, but it seems like you would be more honest. Whereas like, because I'm like, I know this is a me problem. So why would I involve anyone else? I'm just going to take it on. But then it's like, that's the worst fucking place for me to be, is like stuck in my own head with secrets about how I'm feeling and how those feelings other me from everyone else in the world. And I'm the only one feeling this way. And, you know, no one can help me. I know best. I know how to handle this. And what I do now, that is my like unhealthy thing, is I am just so busy that I don't give myself time to think. And so then when I lay down at night, I'm like, God damn it, fuck. I can't like go on a run right now or whatever it is that I'm going to do. And then I like start a podcast and like fucking do all this other shit to like not have any time to think about anything. And I think that's being healthy because I'm being productive. When I was in my addiction, I wasn't fucking doing anything. So I'm like, well, this is surely better. But it's like, but at the end of the day, I'm still me. And unless I like implement the principles that I've known, because relationships and addiction, in my opinion, are like so similar, because it's like you said, they said to you, why don't you just stop? And you were like, oh yeah, if I could just fucking stop. Like, that's what I said about drinking. I was like, well, yeah, I'll just stop drinking. That'll be so easy. It's the same shit. And it's like, I become so crazy when I'm fucking you. When anything that makes me feel good is present, and relationships included, I'm so afraid that I'm not going to feel that same good feeling anymore. And that's where abandonment comes in. Yeah. I'm equally as afraid of abandonment as I was when I was using about being sober.
Yeah, I'd say more so, honestly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because then it proves what I've always thought about myself, is that I'm not worth someone staying around. Because I tell my therapist every single week, probably, I'm like, if I could not be with myself, I wouldn't. Like, I wouldn't choose to be with this brain. So why would I let someone else hear the thoughts I'm having? Because I would choose to not hear them if I could. So I'm not going to share them. I'm not going to bring you into that.
Yeah, and so I'm always sharing with people, like, so it takes work, right? Like, I'm barely with, it's like a decade now that I've been at this deal. Barely, like, the last year started experiencing, like, being really okay with myself and, like, feeling confident. And, what's helped a lot is door-to-door sales. Like, that doing that has I think helped me, because it's like every door it's really hard for me, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm coming up against myself. I'm scared. There are times I go out to door knock and then I pull up and then I just talk myself out of it and go back home. But I really want to get good at it, so I just keep doing it. And yeah, the more that I've done it, the more that I've just become okay with rejection. I'm like really comfortable talking around people. Like, I'll have experiences where I walk into like a room full of people and I'm, walking up, shaking hands. What's your name? What do you do for, you know what I mean? And like, for somebody like me, those are profound experiences because I spend my life in my head so scared of everybody, and yeah, so I'm barely starting to experience that sense of like connection to not just myself, but like other people, and really feeling like I deserve like good things in my life. Does that make sense?
Yes, totally.
But so I'm always sharing that though, because I myself, like at 1 year sober, I want to experience all that. And my experience is like, it just doesn't, like, you have to be patient, and you have to be willing to just like, dude, growth doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It sucks.
And like, what I have found is the only thing that has ever helped me with anything ever is, like, my therapist is telling me a lot recently, like, I'm so obsessed with the idea of like always or never. Like, it was that way with drinking. Like, the idea that I could never drink again was simply unbearable. Like, I just couldn't do it. And that's why fucking one day at a time is a thing, is because like no one can handle the idea of forever when it comes to giving something up. But just in the same way with relationships, and like, ultimately I'm afraid that I'll never experience like forever with someone. Like, that is where my abandonment, like, that's the actual fear. And it's like, but right now, everything is good. Right now in this moment, like, things are okay. And so it's the same one day at a time shit.
Damn.
I know.
I've never thought about it like that. I literally, that's like,
yeah, I know. It's crazy because I had never thought about it either, but like, my problem really is with like permanence. Yeah. And when I can accept that in some areas of my life, like I still to this day, I'm not going to say like, I hope to God I never drink again, but I can't fucking do that mental gymnastics. I just have to know I'm not doing it today. Like, that still helps me. And right now, like, nothing's wrong. Nothing. Like, when I'm anxious about finances. Like I have OCD anxiety that one day I'm just going to go to prison for something. And it's like, right. Because I'm like, I've forgotten something like really important and they're going to find me and they're going to know. And like, I just have all these fucking crazy ass, like worst case scenario things that like are all future based. I'm going to be left. I'm going to fucking go to prison. Like, but right now I have not done anything illegal and my relationship's great. And I'm having so much fun at this podcast and everything's fine. And I'm going to go home and I'm going to pet my dog. And that's going to be that for today. And that's all that fucking is ever real is literally right now.
Yeah. I could see you on Orange is the New Black. You
No,
know?
please. I'll actually cry. I just feel like they're going to come and they're going to be like, remember that toll bill?
Dude,
prison.
Don't get me started on the tolls yet.
They'll never see a dime. I'm so sorry. It's a road? I'm gonna drive on it? Like, no. That's why I pay fucking taxes. And I do pay my taxes. If the feds are watching.
Like how you looked and smiled. Like,
that was the first time I've made eye contact with the camera this whole time. Because I'm fucking serious. Don't arrest me.
Oh, shit.
Okay, anyways, sorry. We went on a big thing, but I want to hear about the last time and how we got here.
The last time what?
Last time you relapsed. Because you were saying you were really trying. You were on your knees. You prayed that night.
Oh, yeah. Called my friend Nick. Called my friend David. I told him the truth. The thing is like, and I watch other people, and this is where I can't get into comparing myself to others, right? But I've seen other people do some pretty fucking shady shit in recovery, you know, like stealing and stuff like that. And I've never done shit like that. Like I really do honestly feel like I'm a genuine and authentic person, and I'm honest about, you know, I'm an open book, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really don't know, like, sometimes I don't know, like, necessarily what I was doing wrong, which, like, sometimes the only conclusion I can come to is just, this is just part of my journey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it sucked, but yeah, maybe it's what I needed to have a new experience with this deal, you know, and to really just let go of like these belief systems that I've created around AA that they just don't work.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's gonna happen again. I don't know what the future holds. You know, like you were just talking about. Like I can't really spend too much time there. I know I have a lot of goals and stuff, but yeah, I mean, it's like the real flex is just being happy and living like happy and today, you know?
Yeah.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. I think that's like, it's hard when, I think in recovery, there's a lot of like recovery related ego that happens. Like it's no secret, I haven't been going to a ton of meetings. And like my sponsor's like, do you want to go to this meeting? And like I just happened to not be doing anything that night, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking go. She goes, great, it's in Buda. I was like, great. Love Buda. And so I fucking drive 30 minutes, and I'm like, the whole time I'm like, okay, well this will actually be good, because like there's probably not gonna be like many people I know there, because I just fucking hate it when someone's like, haven't seen you around a lot. And I'm like, okay, you motherfucker, like I didn't need to be called out this way. But I have such like a thing about, well, if I go back now, then people are going to be like, well, where have you been? Like, are you struggling again? Like, and it's all things that aren't real, because nobody's fucking thinking about me. And like, and I even in rehab, the first 2 times I went to treatment, I was so concerned with being like an A student. Like the idea of an AMA couldn't be me. Yeah. I was there the whole time, and I was like, I'm gonna be sober. I'm actually so fucking I'm the most sober I've ever been right now. Like I believed in my heart that I was just gonna win the affection of all of the employees, and everybody was gonna give me like a star, and I was gonna be good to go. And so like the lack of like, now I'm trying to really break down my beliefs around like needing validation from other people in recovery to know that I'm doing okay. Like, because at the end of the day, it's like, that's never been real. Like, that's never been real. I used to be really like into the idea that like I show up to this meeting every week and everybody sees me here, and when I share, people are laughing, they're crying, they fucking love what I have to say. Like, and the whole time I'm like sitting there like preparing what I'm about to say, and then afterwards I'm like, crushed it, and I'm not fucking listening, and I'm not doing what I'm there to do. Like, and I'd be like, no, I come to like bring the message now. I don't need like it taught to me. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, shut the fuck up for once. And like when I went to that meeting, I had the feeling to be like, I should share. And I was like, you don't have anything to say right now. Listen to this group of people who clearly know more than you do in this moment. Yeah. But I have that like ego thing with like being recovered that a question I wanted to ask you is like, was it hard as someone who was like a really big person in like the recovery scene? Did you struggle with that post relapse?
Yeah, for sure. And actually, I think that was yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I think that was a huge deal too. When I relapsed, I had that identity in AA, right? And so when I relapsed, that was like gone. Right?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of last year was this grieving of that person. And what was I going to touch on? Yeah, that last relapse. Oh, so yeah, and I think a lot of my recovery, I've depended on other people's suggestions, right? Because it worked for a long time. Yeah. So, and I think the last few years, me going into roofing, right, was kind of like the first decision that I made on my own. I can't tell you how many people told me at the time that I was making the wrong decision, right? And it was a big deal because I was, one, trying to do the right thing, but I was also miserable doing what I was doing for a long time, right? And I finally just made my own decision, and you know, I'm always telling guys like, I've fallen, right? I made a decision, and I've fallen down a couple times, but ultimately, like, dude, I love my fucking job today. Like, I was on a roof earlier today, and I was just, dude, I love my fucking job, you know? And I've never felt that way before, except when I was washing dishes, but, and then, so I think I'm coming into this, like, version of myself where it's like I'm having my own real authentic relationship with God, and it's not based on like what other people are suggesting of me. Does that make sense?
Yes, totally.
I'm learning to like walk on my own, kind of.
Yeah.
And it's scary, and I don't know what I'm fucking doing half the time, but like, who does?
Do you have like, asking for a friend, but it's actually me. I struggle so greatly, and I've had this ever since I was a little kid, because like, you know, I was raised very Christian, been OCD since I was born. And so when I would pray, like as a child, I would be like, okay, in case anyone were to hear this prayer, like God and his brothers, I'm not really sure, but like, I just thought there was like a panel of people who were going to like be dissecting the way that I prayed. Anyways, but today, like still to this fucking day, and I think this is rooted in patriarchy. But anyways, I think like when I write in my journal, I'm like, it must be well worded for when someone finds this in the future and they make a judgment call right then and there about like if I'm a good person or not. Like, I can't fucking be honest in my own fucking journal. That is, I live alone in my apartment and no one is gonna be there and read it. Like, I struggle so much with everything being performative, even when no one's around.
Yeah. So, all right. So I share this with sponsees a lot. So a while back, I was praying, right? Because I was resentful at my boss. I was pissed off at him. But yeah, when I'm praying, it's like I'm trying to like sound good, you know?
Right.
Sound spiritual. But I had something clicked, and I was like, this is dishonest, right? And then so I just like went the other direction. I was like, God, you know what? Fuck that motherfucker, dude. and allow myself to like get ugly and mean and angry and prayer. And that's when I start to like really see the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, damn, I'm being a fucking prick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm not even considering the fact that like he's got all these deals. I'm only dealing with a couple deals, and he's dealing with like probably 20, 30, you know what I mean? And I'm not even considering, you know, and I'm just treating him like shit. Yeah. And yeah, but ultimately what I'm trying to say is like when I get that honest in prayer, that's when I get results, you know what I mean? I don't want to say I don't think God is not listening when I'm not honest, but like I don't really have an experience that way, you know? But I get what you're saying, though. I feel like I pray that way probably about 80% of the time, and I don't even realize it, you know?
Yeah.
But every now and then it'll click, and I'll be like, I'm being dishonest. Like, I'm gonna get real. You know what? God, fuck this shit.
Whenever I hit the third step prayer, that's my favorite one, the whole thing, I'm not listening to myself, but my check-in point is relieve me of the bondage of self. That's such a fucking banger. Like, relieve me of the bondage of self? That's exactly what my fucking problem is. I am literally, my mind is a prison, dog. Like, relieve me of that, because I can't fucking stop thinking about me and how my diary's gonna be perceived by the future historians who are gonna read it for some fucking reason when they study my brain and how much of a prison it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so Ram Dass has it. I'm always talking about Ram Dass, but he has this quote that's always stuck with me. But he talks about how like after all the meditation he's done, all the spiritual teachers he sat at the feet of, all the spiritual work he's done ever, all the drugs, everything. He was like, I don't think I've gotten rid of one of my neuroses, right? And what he's trying to convey is that like I'm still crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've gotten any less crazy. I think I just have become a little bit more aware of like how crazy I actually am, right?
Yeah.
But when I can be aware of it, I can kind of sit back and just kind of laugh at this whole like thing that's happening, you know? It's all just like a cosmic dance we're doing.
Yeah. That's when I feel like when I'm able to zoom out and be like, this is all just so like what I'm gonna spend my life like thinking about myself when I could be like having the experience of what it is to be human. And that's like the fucking thing that gets me through the hardest moments is like there's this quote, someone said it, I don't know who it was, but they were like, you know, imagine your soul is just floating around like outer space, and someone comes to you and they're like, hey, do you want to go down to earth for like 85 years and have like a human, just like be a human for a second? And you'd be like, fuck yeah, of course. And they're like, okay, great. There's like obviously gonna be like joy, happiness, love, all those things, but there's also gonna be like a lot of pain and like suffering and, you know, anger and sadness. Like, are you chill with that? You'd still be like, yeah, why would I not go do that? Like, why would I not just go have a quick 85 years of the full human experience? And that is just so helpful for me because I think that's what sobriety is, really. Like, I didn't want to be having that experience when I was drinking. I wanted to numb all of it. But I'm only given this allotted time. Like, why not spend it in its, like, purest form? And, like, feel all the fucking shit, but then also feel all the joy. Yeah. You know? And that seems to be helpful for me at times.
Yeah, no. I've always kind of, so like, if we're spiritual beings having a human experience, the most spiritual thing I can do is just be fucking human.
Yeah.
But instead, it's like I'm trying to be this perfect spiritual being, but I already am, but I can't, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. It is fucking crazy. Well, do you have anything else that you feel like you left out of your story that you want to share?
No, not really. I mean, I think I have a lot of amends that I still need to make. I think that was another part of my downfall too. Is like I started experiencing success in my life, and then my mind wasn't hey, maybe I should go make all these amends that financial amends I owe people. I started being really selfish, right? So, yeah, and then through my relapses, I've done a lot of harm too. So I got a lot of amends to make, and I'm really committed to doing that. Instead of doing what I did last time. And yeah, I think some of those are going to be lifelong amends, and I'm just grateful to be alive to be able to even have an opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Because the last time I relapsed, like it's very evident that I could have not come back from it.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I'm just really grateful, and like for anybody out there listening, man, just just reach out to somebody if you're struggling, and you just keep pushing through, man, no matter what. Like, life is fucking amazing if I'm just willing to like see through the bullshit.
Yeah.
So
well, thanks so much for telling your story.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been
You
fun.
wouldn't fucking know this because you haven't watched the podcast, but we're now going to get into the segments. And if you'd watched, you'd been able to be prepared with your answers. But so we're going to put you on the spot now. This segment is called Rock Bottom and Pink Cloud. So you're going to do your rock bottom of the week and your pink cloud of the week. So your bad thing of the week and your good thing of the week. And if you'd like, I'll start so you can think about it because you were unprepared. If the feds are watching, unprepared. Okay, so my rock bottom of the week is probably just that I think I'm gonna hit it with the one I keep doing. It's just the prison of my mind. I think it's pretty rough up there sometimes, but I feel like I'm getting to the other side of it. And this week has been better for a plethora of reasons, but I think because I'm actively like taking steps to change it. I don't know. Oh no, that's always my close my tab. Fuck, what am I gonna say for that? Anyways, pink cloud is that my sister is gonna have a baby this week. So that'll be my second niece, and that's really exciting because my sister got married the last time I was in treatment, and she told me I was like so upset that I was gonna miss the wedding. Like, I went to detox with the idea that I was gonna get out of detox and then go to the wedding, but I had been to detox 3 times in 3 months, and so they were like, hey, no, you're not going to the wedding. Anyway, so I went to treatment, FaceTimed into the wedding, and I remember talking to her when they were trying to convince me to go to treatment, and she was like, I was like, I'm gonna miss your wedding, like I'm supposed to be maid of honor. And she told me, like, it's just one day in my life, I want you to be there when I have kids. And so the fact that like today I'm gonna go up there this weekend and be there for it is just like the best thing in the world.
Oh yeah.
So now
go
on now.
My rock bottom. Yeah, I'd say kind of along similar lines. Like when it comes to work, I have a tendency to always think like the most negative shit about myself, right? Like I'm never doing good in my mind, but which kind of leads me into my pink cloud. So like my work hit me up, I think it was Sunday, and they asked me, they were like, hey, you've been doing really good lately. Like you seem to be like, yeah, you just have a good attitude. Will you train like one of the main commercial guys' cousins is getting hired on, and they were like, we want you to train this guy, right? And it's just like it's just mind-blowing because what I tell myself is so different than what I experience, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then just to double back on that, I been training this kid, and yeah, man, it's just been a cool experience. It's like translating, helping others in the rooms to like helping people come into roofing and like experience this whole new level of life. It's been pretty fucking awesome. So yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
And then my dog, my dog's there
Always.
every day. I love her. So
She's the best. Okay, now we're doing close my tab, which is you're closing the tab on something that you want to let go of in your life. So mine's gonna be once again the idea of forever. I think just really anything that is not exactly this very moment, I'm fucking closing the tab on thinking about it because it's just simply not helpful for me. What are you closing the tab on? Did you want to like make a comment about how punny the segments are and like how good I worded them, or you didn't want to say that? Closing the tab on not giving me a compliment?
So yeah, I mean it's hard to find something because I work just such a strong program of
Yeah, it must be
action.
it must be really hard for you.
Yeah, I'd say negativity in general, like, cause yeah, the way I view myself is a constant battle,
Mm-hmm.
right? But and then the way that I project that out onto everybody else, and it's like I assume you're looking at me the way that I look at me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then so I'm like making up my mind about who you are as a person, which it's fucking crazy, right? So
Yeah.
I'd like to close the tab on that part of my life for sure.
Period. Slay. Well, this has just been an absolute blast. Your story it changed my life, honestly. I remember one time you were like, you made some fucking joke like you just made about how, you got me sober or something like that. But I really do like those, you guys coming and doing that H&I it was just at the exact right moment for me. And it was really helpful. So it's very cool to have you on.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Of course. And everyone, you'll be so excited to know that I have created a TikTok specifically for this podcast. Please go follow it. It's very embarrassing. I only have like 7 followers right now. It's pretty hard for a person like me to have 7 followers. So give us a follow over there. Also follow me, Sober Bridge. Trey, do you want anyone to find you anywhere or no?
What do you mean, like social media?
Yeah.
So Trey _kills it. That's where I have all my roofing content. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've actually got a lot of engagement. So yeah, follow me.
Is it kills with a Z?
Kills with a Z.
That's
yeah.
correct. Yeah. You can't let people miss that crucial aspect of your name.
Yeah.
Sober Bridge also on TikTok. You know what it is. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It's actually really embarrassing if you don't. And please leave a comment with your sobriety date if you have one coming up so we can shout you out. And thanks so much, guys. See you next week.